The state of being simultaneously dead and alive is the miracle of the artwork. The art becomes a character that defines its creator and also its audience. The artist depicts and creates something from nothing. An artwork that had not existed comes into being by means of the artist's spirit. Something dead becomes alive during the creation process. Then again, it can revert to being dead until it is born again in the viewer's eyes and eventually in their mind. I illustrate my discussion by focusing on two great movies from the 1950s, which portray the obsession with art apart from their linear narrative of captivating characters and gripping stories. These movies are not necessarily made for art house audiences, however, due to their controversial subjects with respect to art and the artist. They can be read for their capacity to build bridges between the living and the dead, not only the movies themselves as artworks, but also their stories.
Why do you want to dance?
Why do you want to live?
I don't know exactly why, but I must.
That's my answer too.
The role that the artist tries to perform can be more alive than their real self. However, when their movie wraps, it becomes dead because they are not rehearsing or creating it anymore. We as the audience follow their stories and movements from one of their dead projects to another. The story begins with a young dancer, Vicky, who sees a pair of red shoes in a shop window, which capture her heart, and she passionately desires them. The shoes themselves are dead material. They do not have a lively identity. When the shoemaker offers the red shoes to her and Vicky puts them on, she turns the dead red shoes into living red shoes through the art of dance. Dance as an art in this movie makes both of them alive, so that one cannot imagine them apart. They become inseparable identities. Metaphorically speaking, creating is imitating the universe's act. It feels as if she has committed a sin by putting on those shoes, and she will pay for it. The punishment for the artist is living in hell, a constant trip between life and death. Artists sacrifice themselves in a sense, devoting their lives to the pleasure of creating, regardless of what the consequences might be. In this particular piece of art, the artist has to die, as the red shoes determine that she must. The pleasure which has to end up in the unpleasure. The artist is dead, and the movie ends, but the story stays with us as the audience, and this is what the demonic shoemaker offers at the end of the ballet sequence when the curtains are about to fall, as he holds the red shoes and presents them to us. He is asking who will be the next victim. The world of the red shoes is the world of art. The red shoes on Vicky's feet and the piano under Julian's hands are props. Props are dead without a human's touch, in order to transform an absence into a presence. The Bad and the Beautiful is a movie about movies, a collective artwork.
What goes on in the private lives of the famous, the notorious? You will share the laughter and the tears of talented people who stop at nothing to attain success until success stops them. Of romantic people who fight for love until love whips them.
Kirk Douglas's character, Jonathan Shields, is a genius. Producer with no mercy, who sacrifices anything and everything for his art. His slogan is, "If you dream, dream big." In other words, if you are making art, make it great art. Shields spots artists' weaknesses and turns them into strengths in order to create his pictures. The artists around him are vulnerable, and they need him more than their own craft. They have a love and hate relationship, or it's better to say it's a life and death relationship. Shields believes it is a selfish act to hide your art in order to live an ordinary life. For this belief, he goes beyond morality to achieve what he needs for his movie to be born. Vicky, played by Lana Turner, suffers from depression and self-destructiveness when Shields met her. Vicky with individual resistance to life, growth, and change, falls in love with Shields. She is in total denial of her talent as an actor. Shields uses her need for his love and pretend that he loves her until the picture wraps. Vicky delivers a great performance to please Shields. She would not be a movie star if not for Shields. Vicky finally finds out that Shields deceived her for the sake of producing the movie. Her death drive ends up with tears. In Freud's book, Beyond the Pleasure Principle, he proposed that the goal of all life is death. James, played by Dick Powell, the screenwriter in The Bad and the Beautiful, has the same journey as Vicky. Shields notices that Rosemary, James's wife, is an obstacle to James's success because of her constant interruptions. Shields sends her away with an actor, which ultimately leads to Rosemary's death. Whether James likes it or not, he works better without his wife. He becomes successful, however, his hatred towards Shields remains implacable. All the characters in The Bad and the Beautiful owe their artistic success to Shields, even though this achievement and joy come along with unpleasure, pain, and death. Both movies, as artworks made in the 1950s, are basically dead. The stories have an influence on our souls and our process of identification with the characters. We are lively when we watch a movie, and we experience the same journey as the characters do. The movie as an artwork taps into all of our senses as an audience. We, as living creatures, communicate with the film, the dead, and vice versa. The miracle of the movie as the artwork is its uncanny capacity to build bridges between the living and the dead.